Welcome back to the Danielle Costa Show on AM 1490 WGCH. That beautiful voice you're hearing is Miss Laura Budzelek. She's actually in studio with me right now talking about her new album. Thanks for coming, Laura.
Hi, Danielle. It's a pleasure to be here.
I know, and we talked about a year ago, we said.
Almost a year ago,
yeah.
exactly.
And now we finally get to meet in person, and the album's finally out.
Yes, it is.
So congratulations, first of all.
Thank you
It was
so
released
much.
on Friday, September 15th.
Yes, that's right. Friday, September 15th.
And you had a local release party as well.
I did at the Old Greenwich Social Club, and it was a blast. We got to hear my album throughout the evening. We had some great food. We had a little video going on with all the guys and people that I worked with throughout the process, like
That's awesome.
pictures of us. You know, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, because I remember you telling me last year when we were talking about this, that this album took years for you to put together.
It did. It took about 2.5 years. I've also been working on other projects. So, but finally this past year, I said to myself, you know what, this is it. I'm going to concentrate on this album and get it done. And we finished it by the end of the summer. So, yeah.
So what made you want to push and get this album out finally?
Okay, the reason why, well, first of all, because I am traveling actually to promote the album abroad.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I leave for Europe in 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks. I'll start it in the UK, and I'll be in Germany and Austria and probably Italy and possibly Spain and France.
Wow.
But I really also want to do a show here in Fairfield County, too. So
you're a local girl.
Yeah, I'm a local girl.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was the main incentive. But also the fact that, I mean, I just really wanted to have my music out in a full album. That was my dream.
Yeah.
So, and I definitely want to record another album down the road, too.
Because now you have the bug.
Yes.
Now you just have it. So Treasure the World Now is the name of your album. Last year when we spoke, that was the single. And you weren't really sure what would be the title. So what made you choose this as the title track?
I decided I'd go with Treasure the World Now because, to me, it really just speaks to the message of the album of uniting the world, uniting countries and people, and also personally just living every day to its fullest, enjoying what's in front of you. So I feel like that title is just all-encompassing on a few levels.
And definitely resonates with a lot of people who you're reaching. So you have a lot of different influences. We were talking a little bit about it off the air, and the song we just heard was a little bit of salsa, a little bit. You have Caribbean influences, New Orleans influences in this album. What made you want to just jump into all those different flavors?
I feel like it's just part of my soul. I know it sounds funny, but you know, I've always been that little girl that wants to speak different languages, that wanted to travel, hear about people's stories, and it came very natural to me. It wasn't like one day I said to myself, like, oh, I have to have a song that incorporates New Orleans jazz or, you know, a salsa feel. It was something that comes from within myself, my personality. I do think one night I actually sat down at my piano. I said to myself, all right, let's come up with a really great song for my Spanish audience, my Spanish-speaking audience. And that might have been the exception where, you know, I thought something with a salsa sound would sound really cool. But for the most part, I wasn't thinking, okay, I have to have this type of song and that type of song. It just sort of came from my spirit, from what inspired me.
So it just kind of flowed, basically. Because you have a lot of different languages. I mean, you speak like a lot of languages. French, Italian, German. I mean, have you always been interested in languages and cultures?
Yeah, I have. Since I was a little girl, I used to go to the library here in Greenwich, the Greenwich Library. Oh my gosh, this is when we had records out. And my mom would take me and I would just sit, you know, in the aisles, mesmerized with the languages on the records. And Spanish was my first language. I got my master's degree in Spanish, focusing on the literature of Spanish books and novels. And I've been teaching Spanish for a while, actually. So to me, I started out with that language. But then, you know, it's like once you learn one, for me at least, it was a very exciting process. So
you just kept going.
Couldn't
get enough.
No.
Do you have a favorite style or favorite language to sing in?
I really don't. I mean, to tell you the truth, I love singing in my native language, in English also. Sometimes it depends on my mood, you know. Sometimes I feel like hearing French, you know, it's so romantic. And sometimes I want to just speak Spanish or Italian or German, so it depends. Sometimes
it just depends, goes with the mood, yeah.
Sometimes I even like hearing a British accent.
Oh, really?
Yes, so I'll get some of that in the UK when I'm over there. I'll
That's
be
true.
doing some acting over there soon. Yep.
You'll get to hear them say Treasure the World Now in their accents. And their
Exactly.
very good accents, yeah. So speaking of your style, you describe it as a baroque pop. Mm-hmm. What exactly does that mean?
I know a lot of people don't know. It's kind of random. Well, my favorite band is the Beatles. So, and they describe themselves as baroque pop. So for me, it fits my music because the Beatles like to incorporate different genres as well. I mean, we have George Harrison writing these Indian-inspired songs, and we have sort of a classical feel on a lot of their albums as well, Eleanor Rigby and some of the great hits. And when I looked up baroque pop online, it did say that it encompasses a few styles with a classical influence. And since I'm a trained opera singer and I've been around classical music for so long, that made the most sense to me to call it baroque pop / world music.
It's definitely world music.
Yeah,
definitely.
For sure. I mean, you could also just call it, so people know what it is, more pop rock / world music. But
okay.
Yeah.
So it's really like you. It's like a mix of all these different things. It's everything you're interested in kind of in your album.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite track off the album that you got to record and write?
Good question. I love them all. They're a part of who I am, but depends on my mood. I really love Our Journey. It's not the most commercial song. It's a bit longer. It's over 6 minutes long. But it speaks about, it's really about myself, actually, but it's for anyone who also wants to relate to it, about being on a journey and literally being on a train or on a bus traveling and having people be a part of your trip, whether it be, someone in a cafe that wants to talk to you, or a relationship, or a teacher in your life, anyone, and just being a part of that journey. I love that song. I also love International, which is, it talks about my childhood. It talks about my neighbors influencing me and wanting to travel the world and spread the message of world unity. And actually on that track, I usually play piano, but that's the only track where I don't play piano or keyboards.
Oh, really?
It's my friend Mark, who did an awesome job. He's on the electric mandolin, and also we have an acoustic guitar. So it's a really nice sound. It's very different.
Very different from what you're doing. So would you say then that you write from experience?
For sure. I mean, that's the majority of what I do. There is a track on there called Cioccolato Adorato.
I was just going to ask.
And to be honest with you, that was inspired by an ad for a chocolate festival in Perugia, Italy.
No way, really?
And I'm actually going to book my trip there soon and see if I can promote that song a little bit over there. But I didn't win the contest, and that's okay. But that was something that pushed me to write that song. I wasn't like waking up one day saying, "Oh, I want to write about chocolate,"
Yeah. I mean, I wake up some days and I think that, but I could never write that way.
I do in the afternoon and the evening as well, thinking about chocolate.
So it really just depends on what you're feeling. You kind of go with the flow. Mm-hmm. How does it feel to be back in Fairfield County promoting your album, your now finished album?
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's a real blessing. I was featured in the Greenwich Times the other day. They had my photo on the front page. And, I have so many ties here to this town. I grew up here. My family still lives here. I've been teaching in Greenwich for a long time, languages actually. And I still have friends in the area, so it's really special.
Do you enjoy teaching as well as playing music?
Definitely. I had to take a year off just because this is such a huge project. I really don't think I could reach a level that I'm aiming for by working full-time.
Right.
But, I've been very, very thankful to have this year off to do this, and it's been great.
And you're going to come back and play a show for us over here?
Oh my gosh, I'd love to. I'm thinking, I don't know where exactly. Maybe, here would be great, but also in Stamford, we have so many great places. The Palace Theater, maybe. I don't know, the Rich Forum, something like that.
You'll have to keep us posted.
Yes.
So what's next for you? Now that the album's done, you're going to Europe. What else? Like, you're going to work on some more songs, or what else can we hear from you?
Gosh, well, I will probably be doing some classical performances in Europe as well, but my goal is to go there and to do some really small shows to start out with, maybe in a cafe. I'm going to be doing something really easygoing tomorrow night at the Unitarian Church in Stamford.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'll be singing with a few of my tracks there. But my dream is to really get out there and play keyboards, do some small shows, and along the road, I would love to hire, my drummer or someone else from my original recording, and also maybe some new people in Europe to play guitar. Depending on how it works out with the schedule.
How exciting though to go to Europe and get to play your music. I mean, small cafe or big cafe, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
That's just
I know.
So exciting.
I'll take the big one too.
Yeah,
That's
right. I would play at a Starbucks.
Go to Hamburg like the Beatles.
Exactly.
That's cool.
So where can people find you if they want more information?
My website is the best place. It's www.laurabudzelek.com. LauraBudzelek. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon.
Just all over.
Yeah.
So we can stream you.
Yes.
We were just talking before off air.
That's right. And also you could, if you're interested, if you're old school like me, I love vinyl and I love CDs still too. But you can purchase my album, the CDs for now, possibly vinyl down the road, at Academy Records and CDs.
Oh, cool.
It's on 12 West 18th Street, New York, New York. So that's another place.
That's another place you can.
Yep.
And where can we follow you on social media?
Okay, so social media, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and I promised my publicist I'd open up my Twitter account soon.
Well, you know what? Twitter is a good place to start. It's only 140 characters. You don't have to go too crazy.
For sure.
And you can just talk about your music.
Right. And also, I forgot to mention that you can also buy my album on CD Baby, too.
Oh, awesome. Mm-hmm. So there's so many places that we can find you, really. Well, you better keep updating that Instagram, too, when you go to Europe, because I know that I'm going to want to know what's going on.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, Laura.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm so happy to finally meet you in person as well.
I know. It's been great. I love talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Congratulations. Guys, that was Laura Budzelek. Her album, Treasure the World, out now everywhere, as you heard. You can check me out on Facebook, and I will post all the links to check out where you can find Laura. Laura, thank you again, and we'll be back with more on AM 1490 WGCH.